It's on the screen. You can see it. And the more I think about it, the more frustrated I get. And I'm going to spend this video telling you why I think Jamaal Williams, believe it or not, is wrong. Stick with me here. As much as I loved his time here in Detroit, it's hard when someone says things like this on the way out the door, or not necessarily on the way out the door, but as soon as they enter into another house, which is in New Orleans. And so I want to read exactly what Jamaal Williams said, why he called the contract offer from the Lions disrespectful. We're going to talk some facts about what it looks like. And then we're going to talk about, are we better off with David Montgomery than Jamaal Williams? So we have a lot to get to in this video. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get started. And let's start by looking at exactly what Jamaal Williams said in calling this contract offer from the Detroit Lions disrespectful. Here is his direct quote. You can see it on the screen right here in the gray. And it says, "They've been done with me. I could tell." Okay. You could tell. Everything we've heard on the outside said the opposite. But here's what I will say, and this is actually in Jamaal's favor. Once you get an offer, once you put pen to paper and that contract comes, that's when you can know if someone really wants to have you back. We'll never know exactly what that is, but we do have conflicting reports, so we're going to talk about it. But we have this guy, Jamaal Williams. He's never been shy. He's always shared his feelings, and now those feelings, for the first time, just aren't very nice on Detroit. The last 2 years, it's been nothing but love it, love Detroit, love Detroit, love Detroit. So here's what they said. "They've been done with me. I could tell. The offer they gave me, I feel like it was very," he paused and said, "just disrespectful." Just showing that they, really didn't want me to be there like that. Okay. Here's where I start struggling with what he said. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel. But then he finishes basically just putting us on blast and then says, "But it's all love. Like, I know my teammates, everybody there at the Detroit Lions have love for me and all that. But at the same time, we couldn't come to terms with things." It almost feels like a oops. I can't believe I just said that. It's still all love. It's not all love, man. You just went, everybody who hears this, you went from an absolutely loved guy. Even, I don't know how you weren't drafted here, but you became so loved by this Detroit Lions fan base. And I'll explain to you why that was. I think we were booty blinded last year a little bit. And so, like, you were become loved by this fan base, and then in one sentence, gone. In one sentence, it was gone. And so I think it's hard to see this. Now, here's the conflicting reports part, and then let's get to, are we better off without him, and why this whole idea of disrespect just doesn't make sense in what he was saying about his contract offer. So I'm really gonna dive into this. Kyle Meinke said, "As I said on the podcast today, the Lions offer to Jamaal Williams was nowhere near what New Orleans gave him." Okay. This is going to have a contradictory report, but then what was it? Because we just came off giving Jamaal Williams a 2-year, I think it was a $7 million or $6 million. I think he made $3 million and $4 million in his 2 years here. So do you think we offered him less money than we offered him 2 years ago? Because the New Orleans Saints only gave him a 3-year, $12 million contract with $8 million guaranteed. It couldn't have been that much less than $4 million a year. Could it have been 2 years, 7.58 million? Maybe. Could it have been 3 years, 10, 11 million? Maybe. But those are near what he got from New Orleans. That's not a nowhere near situation. Okay. But now that's not what everybody writes. Dave Burkett, good journalist, said that the Lions were believed to be offering Williams a similar deal to the one they gave Montgomery. Now, this lines up closely with what some sources have told Pride of Detroit. This lines up with what I have heard. So here's the question that I have for everybody. Did Jamaal Williams overplay his hand? Did Jamaal Williams get an offer from the Lions that he didn't like? Did he get an offer from the Detroit Lions that he didn't like? Say, "No, I'm out of here. I'm going to find something else." The Lions, being good business people, went and said, "All right, fine. We're going to give 3 years, $18 million. Set the running back market with David Montgomery." And by the way, I'm going to be the first to say, and this is what I'll prove in the next minute, I would much rather have David Montgomery at $6 million a year than Jamaal Williams at $4 million. And I know that might be hard for some people to hear. I have been battling with Jamaal Williams for a long time with this Lions team. Is it just a product of the system, or is it Jamaal Williams that's so good? And I've come to the conclusion with looking at stats, it's a product of the system. So I guess without further ado, let's hop into some of that and let's see what I'm talking about. So we're going to start with the Jamaal Williams stats. I will give you his stat line, and you will notice a glaring difference. And a glaring difference. Let me get you in a little bit closer here so you can see better between his first 5 years in the league, 2021 down, and 2022. A massive difference in one area, actually two areas, because one is good, one is bad. So every year he had averaged 4 yards per carry, essentially, over the course of his career. He averaged 4.1 in 2022. His production per carry was the exact same. And I will argue that the Lions offensive line is better than the 2020-2019 Packers offensive line, but that was actually a really pretty good offensive line too. So it's very close. Here's the difference. He got more attempts and more touchdowns. But go and look at his touchdowns. It was like 30, 15, 10, 7, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I mean, everything was on the 1 yard line. We just gave it to him. Jared Goff had more plays that ended at the 1 yard line than any quarterback in the NFL. That is correctable. But his receptions went greatly down because he had so many drops this year. We just stopped targeting him. He became a 2-down back while in Detroit. So we know what he was. Now let's look at what the guy who's replacing him is. I want you to be able to see this because on the ground, he is the exact same running back as Jamaal Williams. When he gets the right amount of carries, he gets over 1,000 yards and he produces at a high level. He is a guy that Jamaal Williams is averaging 4 yards per carry. David Montgomery, 3.9. Jamaal Williams is 28. David Montgomery is 25. Jamaal Williams had a combined 13 touchdowns his first 5 years in the NFL. He had 17 last year. It was a special season. But water finds its level, people. And Jamaal Williams was not going to get 17 touchdowns again. He was still going to be a running back who is a 2-down back that averaged 4 yards per carry. David Montgomery is a 3-down back that is a much better receiver. Look at these receiving numbers, 34, 42, 54, 25, right? He is a threat in the receiving game. He is a great run blocker. So is Jamaal Williams. But here's what I'm telling you. He's everything Jamaal Williams was, but he can play all 3 downs, which with the injury history with Swift, that's what we want. That's what we need from a running back. He's 3 years younger. So maybe it was a disrespectful offer. Or maybe Jamaal Williams just didn't understand his value as a approaching 30 running back in this league. And we understood that we wanted to go out, get a younger guy with 2 less years under his belt in the NFL of wear and tear. And so they said, we're going to go get David Montgomery because he's more multiple. He fits what we want to do. When you put Jamaal Williams next to David Montgomery, Jamaal Williams is a more bruising back. Yes, he wins that. David Montgomery, same speed, I would imagine, much better wiggle, better break tackle rating, by far, better vision. I'm going to take the other guy. So I understand the whole disrespect thing because you wanted to stay in Detroit. You wanted to make money there. And I think the disrespect comes not necessarily from the fact that he signed a 4-year or a 3-year, $12 million deal. I think it's because his offer was less than what we offered David Montgomery. And he viewed that as disrespect. And maybe he should. Maybe he should. So let me know what you think. Do you think we disrespected Jamaal Williams, or do you think maybe he's a little clouded, a little emotional in the moment? Do you still have love for Jamaal Williams, or is this kind of put a sour taste in your mouth? Leave a comment below. It's below the subscribe button. Hit it on your way there. And if you like what we're doing on the channel, feel free to become a member. It's a great way to support what we're doing here at Sports Talk Detroit because we love doing this. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.